What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the stream. And today, for you, we have the trade deadline episode. And as you can see, we've got on track. We are now 2 games over 500. We had a very good month of July and month of June after the last episode with the MLB draft. I'm pretty happy. It seems like a couple of things I did to shake things up to kind of move things into place, better place to help us out, kind of helped out. And some of the guys have also picked up their performance. Some of the guys have been staying at their high levels of play. Some of the guys have even elevated it to whole different levels. So before we get to some of the trades, I want to show you how some of the guys have played so far. So Jonathan India has just been phenomenal this year. I said in an episode at the end of last season, I wanted his numbers to look more like his 2021 year, and he is actually looking very, very close to that, actually exceeding that. On base percentage is a little bit lower, but honestly, I'm not going to complain at 359. This is everything I could have asked for from Jonathan India, and then some, honestly. Willie Adames has struggled this year. I'm not going to panic, though. He's still giving me decent enough production at the plate, but I definitely am expecting a lot more out of him. We did pay up for him in the offseason, so I actually moved him up into the 2 hole. I'm wondering if that'll help his effectiveness at all. Randall Grichuk was one of our all-stars. He has just gotten scorching in the last month and a half. You see what the slash line is right there. Ian Happ is another all-star. He was actually the all-star game MVP, so very impressive for him. And you see the season that he's having. I mean, that is phenomenal. I'd say that's MVP level like play. Like he's got to be in the discussion, but some of the guys in this league are like insane with some of their performances, so that probably doesn't even come close. But I'm very happy with what we're getting out of Ian Happ. Michael Bush has picked it up. The power numbers getting closer to where I want. I still want a little bit more out of him. I like his ISO to be closer to around 200 as our first baseman, but I can't complain. He's having a pretty good season. He started to kind of settle in. I'm happy about that. Alejandro Kirk has fallen off in the average department a little bit, but I mean, still, this is a great season. Another one of our hitters who has been performing great. And as you can see, hitting is definitely not our problem. So Gunnar Henderson, he's been cool for a little bit now, but I mean, I honestly, he's had a pretty good year. If he can keep this up as the year goes on, I think we'll see some pretty good growth in his batting numbers, and he will be ready to take off next season. Juan Yepes, I want to see more power out of him. But overall, this guy has been solid at the dish for us, so I can't really complain with that. Randall Grichuk actually moved him into a starting role because some of the other guys had been struggling. I actually had Nick Gordon in right field, and as you remember, we moved Nick Gordon because Elliot Ramos was struggling. Santiago Espinal's having a rough year, so we're having trouble finding somebody to fit that right field role. Seems like Grichuk's done pretty well in this season, so pretty happy with those numbers. Most of those at-bats have come against lefties because that's what we've been using him for, and that's what he does really well. But overall, pretty happy with his year. Santiago Espinal, again, talked about it last episode, not his best season, but he's still doing some stuff for us off the bench, and I can't complain too much about that. Jorge Mateo, again, he was the end of bench player. Stolen bases numbers, would like to see him more effective on those stolen bases because his bat's not doing anything for us. Nick Gordon, he had been hitting pretty well, but he's on a pretty cold streak right now, so we had to take him out of the lot, start every day starting lineup. Carson Taylor, we called up over Ali Sanchez, and, Carson Taylor is impressed me. I like what he gives us as a backup catcher, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then let's switch over to the pitching rotations. Everybody has calmed down, and I'm so happy about that. So Trevor Rogers, you'll see that the ERAs are high, but if you look at some of the FIPs, they're very good. So Trevor Rogers, he's got a 3.57 FIP. Home run numbers are solid. Grayson Rodriguez, the 4.21, but home run numbers have settled down to 1.26. I love where they're at there. You see the FIP a little bit above 4. Not quite sure why it's so high. Maybe he's not striking out as many guys as he could, but much happier with the performance we're getting out of Grayson Rodriguez right now. Asa Lacy, he was struggling with the ERA number was high, but his FIP has been good all year, and you see what it is, 2.86. So he's been great. Love that we called him up. Love what we're getting out of him. Bobby Miller, the ERA doesn't look great, but the FIP is okay at 4.5. It's really the home run number. We got to try to pull that down a little bit more and also get those strikeout numbers back over 9 like he was the last 2 seasons. Chris Bassett's been phenomenal for us. I maybe getting a little ahead of myself here, but he's not going to be here after this episode. The way that I worked out some of these trades, I'm not going to need him anymore. But for the time that we had him, you look at the ERA there. He's 5-3, 3.28 ERA. He's been fantastic for us. He's eaten a lot of innings. I mean, how many? He's had over six. Really, really happy about that. Somebody to take the pressure off our bullpen. And guys have settled in. Carlos Hernandez has only pitched 1 inning since last episode. I don't know why. He's been, in my middle relief. I don't know why computer has been using him, but whatever. Brady Singer has settled down a little bit. So his ERA is down to 6. His FIP is down. We might be moving him at this deadline for something small, nothing too crazy, but Luis Frias has been one of our best bullpen arms in this franchise. Kyle Nicholas, ERA is going up a little bit, but overall pretty good season from him. We just brought Bryce Bonnin up, so don't look too much into those numbers there. Keegan Aiken's been phenomenal all year. Aaron Bummer, ERA is weird. I mean, it's 5.35, but the FIP is okay, so I'm not concerned about that. And then Johan Ramirez, 1.5 ERA. What's his FIP? Yeah, FIP is 3.08. Yohan Ramirez has been great. Love him in that closer's role. What's he got for saves? So he's already got 20 saves in 22 chances on top of those 14 holds. So that's pretty impressive. Checking out some of the guys on the farm. Alexander Vizcaino has had a great season at AAA. He's ready for, to fulfill a depth role or something like that. I've been trying to see for a way to get him back in the majors. I don't know if I'm going to after the deadline. We'll see. Brian Bello, I think I'm going to get into the majors after the deadline because he's really picked it back up at AAA. I love the boost that he's able to get. I think he's ready to come back to the majors and do some good work for us. I see the area was a little bit concerning back then, but I'm ready. Okay. Daniel Palencia has been pretty good. Logan Henderson's been excellent all season. This guy, I checked in, he actually has 79 potential. I did not know that. I think we picked him up in free agency, so that was kind of just random out of nowhere. Ronnie Collado is a guy that we picked up from the Rockies 2 off seasons ago. He looks like a future bullpen piece. I like what he brings to the table. Jeremiah Estrada, not the best season. He's already 26, so he's kind of running out of time to be a contributor in our bullpen. Bryce Miller's been phenomenal. He's somebody who's in consideration for some future. Tyler Ivey's not been good this year. I don't know what happened to him. He was good his first 2 seasons for us, but the last 2 seasons, he's just gotten himself into trouble with the walks. I don't get it. They've increased every single season. I don't understand why either because, he's got decent per 9 numbers. But we did send Dylan Coleman down. The ERA is okay, but the FIP is actually over 5. He's not striking guys out. The Howard numbers aren't great. I think this might be Coleman's last year with us. He gave us some really good innings for 3 seasons, so I was really happy about that. But got some other guys just kind of passing him up. He doesn't have, the base on balls per 9, home runs per 9 leaves him to be desired. So, but that's okay. I'm happy with what we got out of him. And then Abner Uribe, really pushing for a call-up. I just don't have that spot in the bullpen for the majors yet. Down at Double-A, Derek Leonard continues to have a good season. Luis Aguayo, international free agent sign, he's been okay. Luis Arias has cooled off. The walk numbers have started to spike once again. But overall, pretty good growth, so I can't complain there. Richie Gallegos has been decent. And then there's nobody really want to talk about for pitching in Double-A. Looking at the minors down here, Leova Peguero has just been outstanding at Triple-A. That slash line insane. You see the +10 to the power left, so this kind of came out of nowhere. He's kind of not been a great hitter for us in this franchise, so I'm really happy about this season right now. He looks like he could be a part of our future. Kyle Manzardo's gotten hot. Numbers are starting to look a little bit more what I want to see out of him. Kevin Alcantara's kind of cooled off pretty drastically. I hope he can pick it up in the last month and a half of the season. Let's see, nothing else to talk. Elliot Ramos, the power numbers are good, but everything else not great. I'm a little bit concerned about him. I like what he's got in terms of the ratings. He's just not capitalizing on what he has. So we're going to keep him down there for a little while longer. We'll get him back in the majors at some point this season, though. And then looking down at just Double-A, our first round Jeff Beckham last year has started to pick it up. I'm happy to see that. Buford Grant, okay, but not great. Francisco Batista has cooled off significantly. Miguel Blyce has still been having a great season. I'm a little bit confused. He came into the season as a 59 overall. He's only 21 years old. I think he has 79 potential, and he's having a scorching season. I don't understand why he's not growing very much. That's so confusing to me, and a little bit frustrating because I was really hoping to see him make quite a bit of growth. Leandro Rojas, not great from him, so that's a little concerning. But again, he's only 19 years old. He's already at that 66 overall, so I don't think there's any reason to panic. Davison De Los Santos, really like the slash line. He's cooled off a little bit of late, but I think he's had a really good year. We might look to get him into AAA at some point this year. David Arellano still needs to work on that bat. I mean, that is an awful slash line, but again, he's only 20 years old, so I'm not going to panic. And that's it. 4 guys I want to talk about. So let's get to the trades. First thing I want to do is just a little bit of selling. And by selling, I mean I just trading a couple of minor guys. So the first guy I'm going to be trading is Brady Singer. We moved him out of the rotation. He's starting to do better in a long relief role. But what I'm going to do with him is I'm actually going to, after this trade, I'm going to trade him or switch him to relief pitcher and make him a long reliever for the team I trade him to. And the team I am trading him to is actually his home squad. So this is where a team I got him from, and he's going back there. You see, they don't have really a lot of bullpen arms, and specifically, they don't have anybody to fill a long relief role there until you get the Joel Piamps, but he's had a pretty good year there. But so I'm going to send Brady Singer back there, and I'm not going to get a crazy return. I'm going to get Vernon Coronado, so 20-year-old relief pitcher out of the Dominican Republic, 58 overall, see potential, nothing crazy. I'm just looking for a young relief arm, so Coronado fits that. And then I'm going to get left fielder, Dwight McLeod, 19-year-old, C potential, 59 overall. So, see, still even favoring them a little bit. I think Singer has one more year left of service time. So, the Royals will use him in a long relief role, maybe flip him in next year's deadline. He'll be like an 82 overall, 82, 83 overall relief pitcher. So, I mean, he might actually be good in a relief role. He's got some good makeup. So, I don't mind what we're getting, and I don't think that they're giving that up. Okay, now the guy I'm going to be moving is Tyler, who, he hasn't been good the last 2 seasons, but he can do some things. Plus, he's a 77 overall, so a rebuilding team, especially with that, he's got 3 years of service time left, could get some good use out of him for a couple seasons, and I'm going to trade him to the Washington Nationals. And again, not going to get anything too crazy. I'm going to go get a B potential 18-year-old closer. Now, that seems like a pretty good value for Tyler Ivey, but again, this team has a couple of good closers, including an A potential closer ahead of this guy. Plus, they have a couple of B potential relievers already, so this is nothing too crazy. The reason I specifically went for David Ramirez is I don't have any really good lefty relievers in my organization. So I also probably liked Johnny MacArthur a little bit more, but I decided to go for that lefty to kind of help my future because I need a lefty, and I don't have any lefties with upside in my bullpen in my minor league system. So I'm going to do there. And then one final selling trade I am going to make is I'm going to send Randall Grichuk. So Grichuk could help us compete this year, but I'd rather try to get something of value for him than hang on to him. You see, he's had a very good season, and I'm happy with this because the Los Angeles Dodgers need him badly because Mookie Betts is out for 5 to 6 months with a torn MCL, and Harrison Bader's still out for a few weeks, and they need a DH, they need another outfielder, so they really need Randall Grichuk. And I love trading with the Dodgers, if you guys recall a couple of trade deadlines ago, because I love getting some of them juicy prospects that don't have a role in their organization. And I'm going to go get Maddox Bruns. Now, the reason I targeted him is I could use some high upside lefties in my organization. I don't have that many right now, and if the draft from the last episode, I couldn't find a lefty I liked. I did draft 2 righties that I liked, but I couldn't find a lefty, so I wanted to go get Maddox Bruns, and I'm pretty happy with that return. So now that we've done a little bit of selling, a little bit of reorganizing of our uh, organization, now we got to do a little bit of buying so we can try to stay in the thick of things this year. So we are going to go back to the Royals, and they actually just acquired Mike Soroka. They traded Bobby Witt for Micah Soroka and a couple other guys. I don't know why, but whatever. So Mike Soroka is actually entering is in a contract year right now. And you see the stamina is great, which is good. I need somebody who can eat a lot of innings. He's actually having a very good season, 2.77 ERA. His FIPS leave something to be desired because he doesn't strike out a lot of guys. But limiting those walks, being able to eat a lot of innings, that's something I like about Mike Soroka. And to acquire him, I'm going to be sending a guy who has been having a phenomenal season for us at just the right time, too. I'd like to keep Peguero around, but to be honest with you, I had him here because Nicky Lopez left. But I signed Willie Adames, and he's going to be around for a couple seasons. I'm not going to bench Adames, even though I know he is struggling for Leo or Peguero. That just is kind of silly. So Peguero doesn't really have a role right now. He's behind Nick Gordon and Santiago Espinal for like a bench role too. So I don't mind trading him. And you see that this deal could go through like this. I feel like I'm getting maybe a little bit too good a value. So I'm just going to send him one more person. And it's another guy who's having a great season in the minors, and that's Logan Henderson. Now, this is a really good return. I might be overpaying a little bit. Leo Peguero is like an 83 potential. Logan Henderson 79 potential. So this is a pretty good return for the Royals, to be honest. But I'm happy to get Mike Soroka to kind of fill out my rotation. Nice high upside arm for me. And then finally, I have one final trade to make. I want to kind of get another guy to fill that outfield role. I've been trying to find a third outfielder this season. It's been struggling to get some consistent production out of my right fielders. And I went and I found the New York Mets have Jaron Duran on their roster. And I'm like, I kind of like how that bat looks. 66 contact against righty, 62 against lefty, 82 power righty, 67 power lefty. Decent defensive numbers. I need some good defenders on my team as well. Love the speed. And he's having a decent season. I mean, the average and the on-base percentage aren't great, but he's definitely hitting for a decent amount of pops. So what I'm thinking I might do is I'm going to put him in the everyday role for right now in right field. And eventually what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to probably call Elliot Ramos back up, and I might platoon the two of them. So I am excited to get Jaron Duran. And for them, I'm going to start by sending Jeremiah Estrada. Now, it makes me kind of sad because I was kind of hoping Estrada would be like a big-time bullpen piece for us in this franchise, but, you know, it's not how it's going to pan out, but that's okay. He is been having an okay season at AAA, but I think he's going to slide pretty quickly into the Mets bullpen. As you see, he's one of their better bullpen arms quickly already. And then to finalize this trade, I am going to be sending another starting pitcher, Daniel Palencia. Oddly enough, these are two Cubs prospects. I picked up Palencia in free agency this past offseason. So Palencia having a decent season at AAA. He throws some gas at 96 miles an hour, and he strikes out. He has that 126 strikeouts in 107 and a third innings. So this guy might find his way into the rotation at some point. There's not a lot to speak of for the Mets in terms of pitching. They could use some more advanced pitchers right now. I thought about sending him Vizcaino, and they would have really liked that, but I just don't want to part with Vizcaino. I think he could contribute for us this year or in future years, so I didn't want to do that, so I sent him Palencia instead. And I think this is a decent enough return. Estrada's only 26. He's a B potential, so he should slide into their bullpen in the next year or so, and then Palencia could give them something in the future as well. So all right, that should be it for trades that I'm going to make. Like I said, I'm going to slide Jaron Duran into the starting role against righties and lefties. I don't want him hitting second against. There we go. Probably have that's how the setup I want to be. I don't love Yepes up there. Well, Yepes can be fine there. And then for the pitching rotation, I am going to put Mike Soroka there, and I am going to cut Chris Bassett. He's been pitching very well for us. His FIP is over 4, so I think he's going to regress a little bit in the future, but I'm really happy with what he was able to give us in this short term. He really kind of helped us stabilize our rotation, stabilize our pitching when we needed it most, and we got back over 500. We got right into the thick of these things, and let me just show these standings before we go. We are 6 games out of the second wild card spot, so we are going to have to bust our asses to make the playoffs, but I'm feeling confident. I think we are headed in the right direction. You see, we're up to the 14th team, but most importantly, we are 8th in contact, 6th in power, and 9th in pitching. Defense leaves something to be desired, and it's something I might need to focus in the offseason, but that's okay. We're just trying to do anything we can to make the playoffs this year. So, anyways, that is all I have for you guys today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are excited for the rest of the season because I am. I'm finally starting to see the upside that I saw in this team when the season first started. So in the meantime, between time, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm out. Deuces.